Hey, sixth graders. I hope you're doing well. Today we're going to go over the chapter 2 in our book to get ready for the test tomorrow. So let's get started. So in lesson 2.1, we learned about multiplying fractions. Multiplying fractions is so easy. You just multiply straight across. But sometimes what happens when you have a mixed number being a whole number with a fraction like 2 and 2/3. Well, how do you multiply a mixed number? And the answer, maybe you remember, is you don't. You turn the mixed number into a fraction. And I do that by multiplying 2 times 3 is 6, plus 2 more is 8/3 now times 4/5. And I can just multiply straight across. 8 times 4 is 32. 3 times 5 is 15. Now I'm left with this division problem, 32 divided by 15, this improper fraction. I know 15 goes into there 2 times with 2 out of 15 left over. So easy. In 2.2, we learned about dividing mixed numbers and fractions. So how do we divide? Maybe you remember we don't divide. We multiply by the reciprocal of the divisor. So I'm going to rewrite this problem. I have 1 2/5 times the reciprocal of that divisor, 7/4. And this is just like we did above. How do I multiply with mixed numbers? I don't. I know that 5/5, 1 times 5 is 5. So this number becomes 7/5 times 7/4. I just multiply straight across. 7 times 7 is 49. And 5 times 4 is 20. So now there's my division problem. 49 divided by 20 equals 2, with 9 out of that 20 left over. Can I reduce 9/20ths? No. It seems like I can, but I can't. So that is 2.2. Actually, this was 2.2 is just dividing fractions. 2.3 is dividing mixed numbers. So these are very closely related. And I would, the trick is the same. It's the reciprocal of the divisor. So that's lesson 2.4 is about adding and subtracting decimals. And I'm going to work just at a subtraction problem because I think most people find them a little more difficult. But it's like you've been doing since you were a lot littler. The only trick here, just like you would do with money, that's where most people connect here, is to line up the decimals. Here, I lined up the decimals in my question, and I'm going to line up the decimals straight in my answer. So this is a subtraction problem. Some people would want to say 0. Mind you, there's lots of zeros here. Some people would say 0 minus 3 is 0, but it's not. I'm going to regroup here and call that a 10 and 7. And now I have 0 minus 0 is 0. 2 minus 1 is 1. Here's my decimal. I put it down there. 4 minus 4 is 0. And 10 minus nothing is 10. So I just go straight down just like I always have and make sure my decimals lined up. Lesson number 2.5 was about multiplying decimals. And in this problem, you see that the decimals look like they're lined up. That's just so it happens. If this was 2 7/10, the decimal would be there. We don't even worry about the decimal until the problem's over. So I know lots of you have different algorithms for multiplication. I'll just use a standard algorithm right here. 2 times 7 is 14. 4 times 7 is 28, plus 1 is 29. And 7 times 4 is 28, plus 2 is 30. So you see, I'm not even worried. I should have these lined up, but I'm not worried because I'm going to count the decimals at the end. So now I'm going to be multiplying. Normally the 2 would be in the tens place, but I'm going to treat it like it is, even though it's not. I'm going to put my 0 there and discard from the previous problem. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 40, or 2 times 4 is 8, and 8 again. So now I'm just going to add these like I always have been doing since 3rd grade. 4 plus 0 is 4. 9 plus 4 is 13. 8 plus 1 is 9. And 3 plus 8 is 11. And now the decimals come in. I count the places 1, 2, 3, 4 in the question. So 1, 2, 3, 4 in the answer. Now I check to make sure. Does that make sense? 4 times less, like a quarter, way less than 1, is 1, and that does make sense. So now I can move on. Lastly, we have lesson 2.6, which we just did yesterday, about dividing decimals. So, and there's a trick. We talked about this a lot, and so I'm just gonna move this decimal here. I'm gonna multiply both sides by 10, and then I'll rewrite the problem for you, even though I probably wouldn't. I move the decimal place once more over. That means I've got 25, the dividend as a whole number. And this is 1 and 25 hundredths. Remember, some people were wanting to let's multiply by another 100 to get rid of the decimal here in the divisor. And you really don't have to. So we only care about that here. And I'm going to put the decimal there in my question, and I'm going to put the decimal there in my answer. So I've got 25, 1 divided by 25, 0. How about 12? 0. How about 125? 5. 5 times 25 is 125 with 0. So, and again, I would check my work. What is 25 times 5 hundredths? It's going to be like we just worked out. It's 125 if I have 5 quarters. But there's 1, 2 places with the decimal, 1, 2 places with the decimal. So I know this was such a fast review, and I don't even have my camera on because I can't figure out how to make it work today. I'm going to be on the Meet all day if you've got any questions. Tomorrow's the test, so good luck. Let's study hard.